A new book coming out next week called I Have Something to Tell You for young adults. It's written by the husband of a former presidential candidate and our current transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg. Chasten Buttigieg will also be heading to Chicago as part of the release tour. He's joining us now with an early look. Hey, Chasten, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So people who know the post-2020 election, Chasten, think of this guy as a, D.C. guy with influence and all of that. But I think you ought to confirm for people, and you talk about it in the book, you were at one time a Starbucks guy with people yelling at you because you didn't put enough caramel in their macchiato.
That's right. That's right. I got my start when I was teaching in Milwaukee. I also worked at Starbucks, and then I transferred down to Chicago. When I moved to Chicago, I was down in the financial district.
You grew up in a small conservative Michigan town. Coming out was not an easy thing for you to do. This book is to assist young people in their coming out or transformational efforts in their life. What do you say to a young person, though, who lives in a state where their legislators are passing anti-trans legislation, eliminating gender-affirming care, restricting the discussion of LGBTQ plus issues, and in fact, let's be honest, your book, and I know but your book could get banned in some of these places. Who knows what will happen? What do you say when someone says, Chasten, I don't have anywhere to turn?
Well, to young people, I say there is nothing wrong with you. And as a former teacher, believe me when I say I think we hold you to a higher standard than we do some of your representatives and people in positions of power. I believe that things did get better and they will continue to get better for LGBTQ Americans. But because things started to get better, there are some adults in these positions of power who want to make it worse. They are threatened by you and they don't need to be. There are millions of people out here backing you up. And I hope that this book is a way to remind you that there is nothing wrong with you. You're perfect just the way you are. And you don't have to feel defined by those opinions of bigoted, hateful adults. I hope this book will be helpful for you, your teachers, and the people who love you.
You know from what you speak because you were bullied when you were young, although then you found yourself in theater and became a bigger star, I guess, in people's eyes. But you were thinking of Broadway, but instead you moved to this city, Chicago. You earned a master's degree in education at DePaul. You got to perform here. You lived in an apartment with roaches on top of the L. Welcome to Chicago. What do you say, though, to those who say, look, I can't leave my hometown. I don't have the resources or money. How am I going to find, in the Broadway words of Pippin, my corner of the sky?
Yeah, when you think about, achieving equality for everyone, that's a really big box to check by yourself. So break it down a little bit. Think about the things that you can do individually. I certainly can empathize. When I was a younger person and everyone kept saying it gets better, I thought that was baloney. But let's make sure that young people are first surrounded by people who uplift them and tell them that they are okay just the way they are, and make sure that they feel loved. So teachers, parents, adults, there's so much power in your words, in your actions. As a teacher, I always wanted to make sure that my students felt welcomed and accepted in my classroom first before we got into the curriculum. Parents, you can join your local chapter of PFLAG, find like-minded parents or parents who are going through some of the same struggles as you. Teachers can reach out to GLSEN, but we all need to think about specific ways that we can be part of an active version of allyship, doing more than posting on social media, finding community. And if you're a young person wondering where to turn and where you can go, there are great resources like the Trevor Project. You are never alone. There are always people ready to connect with you and make sure that you stick around, because we really want you to stick around. And we will find community, and you will find people that are going to uplift you and love you for just who you are.
It's an important message. Before I leave Chicago, where did you live here?
I was up in Edgewater, right off Bryn Mawr.
Okay. Just checking to see where I might want to move or not. We'll see. Anyway, for folks who are religious, people that have issues with LGBTQ plus issues are often perhaps religious in their background based on how they grew up. What do you say to a young person who said, if we were all made in God's image, then why would God do this to me? Aren't I in God's image too?
Yeah, I write about that in the book. I was raised in a religiously conservative family. And we didn't have a lot of answers to those questions because we didn't talk about the existence of LGBTQ people. And I wondered why God would have done this to me. I thought something inside of me was broken. I have found great connection with people who consider themselves religious, who see the important callings of religion that ask them to be loving of their neighbors, to love everyone as they would love themselves. And I think when we start these conversations from a place of humanity and empathy and wanting to do right by our neighbors, then we are able to find more connection amongst one another. But if we just, jump into culture wars and jump on social media and other one another, we're just talking past one another. So I'm really interested in finding ways to build connections with other people and have conversations rooted in empathy and humanity.
I know that today's Chasten would tell younger Chasten everything's going to be okay in the future, and that is the message of your book. At the end of your book, you have discussion questions almost. They could be for classrooms or families. So let me ask you one, which is, if you had never met Peter, and I say Peter because that's what you call him, if you had never met Peter and didn't have the personal courage to take the steps that you did, where would young Chasten Glesman be today?
I don't know. I certainly reflect on that in the book, that the reason I'm here today is because people like my parents showed up for me. I ran away from home after I came out. I was so embarrassed and afraid and ashamed of who I was. But my parents called me back home. I didn't really see 2 steps ahead of me for a long time. And because I had loving people in my life who lifted me up, I was able to go to community college and then university, and then found a love for education, became a teacher. I think if I wasn't who I was today, I'd probably still be in the classroom. But I get to be who I am today because other people showed up for me, because other people made space for me. And especially my parents, they loved me for who I am.
And we get those details in the book. Again, for young people, it's amazing. I do want to talk about your wedding ceremony for a moment. We have just a minute left.
Okay.
But in there is included the line that love lives somewhere between claiming your high calling and doing the dishes. Explain.
Yeah, we were always reflecting on this dichotomy of the mundane and the surreal in this high profile life of ours, that you get to go out here and use this platform and hopefully uplift other people and find connection. I'm certainly traveling the country right now. Greetings from my hotel room, and using this platform to meet thousands of people. And then you go home and you're stepping on Legos and doing the dishes and wrangling 2 very tired, cranky twin toddlers. So. Just finding the balance between getting to be this person and then just being at home, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, and being a really good dad. And that's I think we all struggle to find the balance, but it's one that I'm enjoying trying to find.
All right, you've got 2 young kids, you've got 2 dogs. Truman's my favorite. Who does the dishes, you or Peter?
Oh man, I'm very good at loading the dishwasher. He unloads the dishwasher, and I will claim that I'm very good at washing the laundry, but not folding it. So I give Pete a lot of props for that.
All right, I want a John record on that. You can order the book right now. It's going to be on shelves next week, and you can meet Chasten. The event is in Chicago, May 22nd. For more information, check out social media or visit chastenwrites.com. More news after the break. Thanks, Chasten.
Thanks for having me.